Trace, the bilat has wrapped now. It did go longer than expected. Read that however you may, but there was a lot on the agenda. And quite frankly, there was a large delegation that the president showed up with. We do know that there were some of these business leaders that were seen leaving earlier on in the meeting. So the president, I guess, fulfilled his promise when he Truth Socialed on his way to Beijing that he would make that ask, that first ask to Xi, that he open up China to these business leaders, these 16 CEOs, tech and business CEOs that he's brought with him, including the NVIDIA CEO, a big chip maker for AI models. He also, Apple's Tim Cook and Elon Musk, a part of that delegation. So that was handled at the beginning of this bilat. And then potentially the second half of it may have involved his cabinet secretaries. Remember, he brought really important cabinet secretaries, the Secretary of War, Pete Hegseth, potentially to talk about Iran and the Strait of Hormuz, as well as the Secretary of State, Marco Rubio, who has been very interested in the talks about Taiwan and the Taiwan policy, what happens with that, the way that China feels about Taiwan. We do have that statement out from the Chinese already, as Jack mentioned, in which they say that the president, the Chinese President Xi, told Trump that trade wars have no winners, that trade teams, both sides of the trade teams produce, quote, generally balanced and positive outcomes. We don't know exactly what that means. We don't know how the Chinese are reading that. We don't know what the U.S. side has to say about that yet. We don't have a readout from our side just yet.
What does he want from the U.S.?
A lot of things. We talked about a lot of things. Too many things to discuss, but a lot of things. We had a very good meeting, but we want things from them. One thing he agreed to today is going to order 200 jets. That's a big thing, Boeing's.
Boeing.
200 big ones. That's a lot of jobs. It's a lot. Boeing wanted 150, he got 200. He said, I think it was a commitment. I mean, sort of like a statement, but I think it was a commitment.
The support of Iran. How big a discussion was that today?
We discussed it. I mean, when you say support, they're not fighting a war with us or anything.
No.
He said he's not going to give military equipment. That's a big statement. He said that today. That's a big statement. He said that strongly. But at the same time, he said, they buy a lot of their oil there, and they'd like to keep doing that. She would like to see a deal made. He would like to see a deal made. And he did offer, he said, if I can be of any help at all, I would like to be of help. Because,
he did say that.
Yeah, he did say that. And look, anybody that buys that much oil has obviously got some kind of a relationship with him. But he said, I would love to be of help. If I could be of any help whatsoever, he'd like to see the Hormuz Strait open. He said, if I could be of any help whatsoever, I would like to help.
Point here. When President Trump came here 9 years ago, he was given a personal tour of the Forbidden City by President Xi. You may not think that's not a big deal, but in China it is. And earlier today, President Xi gave him a personal tour of the Temple of Heaven, which is a revered site here in Beijing, China, one of its most famous. It's on the southern end of Tiananmen Square, a few miles from where we're sitting right now. And that was a first as well. And the reason you point this out is because the respect that Xi is trying to show President Trump is coming with the expectation that President Trump will in turn show the respect that President Xi expects in this relationship, that he wants to see as a win-win. Right. We can do it together, is basically what he's saying. And the other thing from that statement that the Chinese Foreign Ministry put out, Brian, it said the following. He said, we need to find ways to get along well in the new era. Okay.
How were your talks, sir?
It's great.
Did you talk about Taiwan?
Great place. Incredible. China's beautiful.
Mr. Secretary, do you have a sense on whether China will help with the Strait in what China has communicated to us about the Strait of Hormuz? And I mean, that's obviously important to them as well. Do you think they're going to help?
I think they're going to do
do what they can. And here, China has a much bigger interest in reopening the strait than the U.S. does. China gets about a third of its energy needs from the Gulf. So a reopening of the strait benefits China. Unfortunately, they've been buying, they were the largest consumer of Iranian oil. They were buying about 90% of it. Iranian oil represented about 10% of their energy that they took in. But the rest of the countries in the Gulf were also substantial contributors, whether it was Saudi, UAE, Qatar, and China gets a substantial amount of their LNG from the Gulf also.
So I'm in China. We had the greatest CEOs in the whole world. We had about 30 of them, and they were pitching President Xi on doing business in China. I think they were successful.
All right, how you doing, everybody, on what is today? Wow, Thursday afternoon, 4 o'clock. I'm going to show you the dinner presentation because there were some things said at the dinner that I think you need to see if you haven't seen it. If you've already seen it, it runs about I'd say about 20 minutes. I want to get to that in a little bit, but I want to talk to you about something that I've been seeing about this entire thing. In my lifetime, I've never seen this many people argue negatively against America. I didn't think it would even try to overshadow or try to impugn what's happening on a global stage right now. People are showing their ass. And they're doing everything to destroy America. As President Trump and the CEOs and Marco and Pete are all trying to keep things above board. Nope, the roaches back here in America, including the media, are doing everything they can to destroy everything he's trying to do. Let's talk about what he's done thus far. Hopefully you guys can read this. But this was posted on the White House Twitter profile. And I'm going to read along with you. It's very small. It says, President Trump had a good meeting with President Xi of China. The two sides discussed ways to enhance economic cooperation between our countries, including expanding market across for American businesses into China and increasing China's investment into our industries. So right off the bat, President Trump and the White House is letting you know what this meeting was about. It was about increasing and improving and amplifying the American economy, which is probably why the Democrats are freaking out. I could put a dollar on the table right now and say, go look at as many Democrat profiles as you possibly can. Look at Liz Warren, look at Hakeem Jeffries, look at Nancy Pelosi, look at Obama, look at them all. And you will be hard pressed to find people not even talking about it. I mean, even talking about it. They're not even, it's like it doesn't even happen. Nothing that we've seen over the last 48 hours has even happened. They don't want their constituents, ignorant libtards, to even pay any attention to this, especially because it has to do with improving the economy. I may lose subscribers. I know I've lost them in the past. I've told you before, I don't give a crap about it. I don't care about subscribers. That's not what's important to me. But I know what the problem is at this point. And the problem is, just like there's people in our chat, there's a lot of people who don't understand money. Excuse me. Everything we're seeing in China, except for a little piece probably where they're talking about Iran, but even that is because of money. I don't know how people can't rationalize and can't understand, but nothing happens in this world. Ideology doesn't pay the bills. DEI, might hurt your nipples or something. You can scream all you want. The only thing that makes sense, because some people ask me, Barry, how did you know about China? Because one of the things I said yesterday was, I bet you China's going to say, we'll buy oil from you. And I got people saying, Barry, how did you know? Well, if you're looking at it from the correct perspective, and that perspective, you got those lenses on, go ahead and focus them, and you understand what you're looking for, and you understand what it's all about. I don't care what podcaster, I don't care what news channel, I don't care who you listen to, they're freaking lying to you if they don't start off with ducats. Everything else under that, security and, this thing and that thing, those all fall second to money. And I don't want to hear the biblical stuff about the love of money. That's not what I'm talking about. You cannot be a world superpower. You cannot be a power anywhere, in anything, doing any business, doing anything in life without money. So when I saw the roster of the people that President Trump took with him to China, I went, okay, I can see where this is going. This is going to a place where we're going to show you how you can profit and how these people here at the table can help you profit. We're just going to show you how to make your country better, and we're going to ask you how you're going to make our country better. One of the things President Trump just said in that interview with Sean Hannity that airs tonight, Boeing is walking away, and that was the only real snippet he gave. Boeing is walking away with a contract for 200 friggin' jets. And some of you guys may not have really paid attention to it. No one in the media is paying attention to it. 200 jets. What do you think that equates to Boeing? Boeing stock, checking Boeing stock. Boeing goes over there and says, hey, let's make a deal. Gee, what do you want? He didn't say, I want to nuke you. He didn't say, I want you to do this and understand how communism works and understand no. Let's do some business. I need some jets. You sell jets. Let's make some money. And it's funny to me because so many people simply don't get it. Either they don't get it or they don't want to get it. They don't want to admit it. They think it's some sort of evil doing that's happening. And you can see it in our media. Oh my gosh, President Trump has bought all these stocks and he's making millions and this and that and everything else. And they're trying to make you think it's a bad thing when the entire world runs on money. The entire world runs on oil. Notice, while President Trump has been over in China with Pete Hegseth, have you heard about, any boats getting shot at in Iran? Nope. Have you heard about any trouble over in Iran? Nope. Why is that? Because the guy with the money who's been paying Iran, they were probably like, please don't tell this dude you're going to buy his oil. Every dime of oil that China doesn't get from Iran, and they put it into American hands, is being taken out of the Iranian economy. And so when you look at it from that perspective, which for some reason so many people resist, and understand what America first actually means. And this is where people get freaked out. America first means what it meant in 1776. Remember those guys who said, to hell with England, we're going over there. We're getting out of here because why are we getting out of here? Oh, and then of course there's this thing called the Tea Party. What was it about? It was about money. And they decided to create this new world. And in this new world, they were going to do all these different things and have captains of industry and do this and build that and everything else. Why'd they do that? To make money. It's the thing that Indians, Native Americans, didn't understand. Hey, big wampum, what are you guys doing? Hey, you want to give us Manhattan for like $50? Oh yeah, $50 and some cigars, morons. We didn't take advantage of him. That's like the best deal ever. They bought Manhattan for like $50. And the rest, as they say, is history. And they've hated us ever since. And you got one country over there, Iran, with a bunch of mullahs running around who are completely the opposite. They want to run the world based upon ideology. They want to make you think the way that they think. They want to beat you into submission. They want to do things to women. They want to do things to people with alternative lifestyles because they don't conform to their ideology. There's a few people up there making money. They control it, but the rest of the people put on your burqa, don't be gay, and shut up. You can't have any. Same thing in Cuba. Don't have the burqas and stuff, but a few people, as you heard Marco Rubio last night, they got like $15-20 billion. They just don't give it to anybody. They do this. They're hoarding it. They're living the high life, and the rest of everybody else is eating gruel. And now you've got American politicians and American voters who would really rather celebrate eating gruel than understanding what this world is all about and how it became what it is. And so when you look at it from that perspective and understand, what are they going over there for? They're going over there to make money. They're going over there because, oh my God, you got like 8 billion people over there. They got to eat, they got to wear clothes, all kinds of things. I can sell it to them. Xi Jinping, big, powerful country, understands a war with the United States isn't profitable. A war with the United States doesn't make any sense. In fact, it's an impediment to where they want to be, and vice versa. We don't want none of that with you. We want you to live your life. We'll live our life. Just, cut off these Iranian nut jobs, and we'll make it worth your while. You see, President Trump is fighting a war in a different way than anybody else has fought wars. I don't need to just keep, going around the world doing this. I can just go after the money. Venezuela, in and out, boom, we own it. Now we have all the oil. Now we have all the oil in Venezuela. And people don't talk about it. What's that worth? Well, it gives you the capability and the hammer to go see Xi Jinping and say, hey, I got oil to sell you. Did have that a couple months ago. And I can't make people, and nor will I try to make people understand. I show the stock market. Oh, the stock market. Did you see the stock market today? Maybe we should take a little bit of a respite and look at something that basically every single one of you at this point should know how to look at, because it's so predictable. It's not just some enigma that seems to happen. It's pretty easy to look at. Over 50,000, up 370. S&P breaking records. Dow jumps 370 to capture 50 grand. S&P posts first close above 7,500 in history. Okay, when you woke up this morning, is there anything different? Here it's still hot. The sun's shining. I came over here and adjusted my lights a little bit. Nothing changed, except there was this big meeting overseas in China where people are getting wind of, oh, we're about to make some serious bank. We're about to just get crazy up in here. And that's all it takes. Just have that good meeting with him, have the meeting with him, and you're good to go. That's what I'm trying to tell and impart upon people. The perspective and focus with what President Trump is doing, the panicans don't see it, the grifters don't see it. They're talking, it's almost like they're driving Edsels. They are using their airways, their cameras, and their microphones to talk about bullshit. And because you're talking about BS, they're missing everything else that's happening. They're like, why are you talking about that? I had a phone call with Ashley a little while ago. She's like, man, it's getting bad. I'm like, what do you mean? She's like, it's just getting monotonous and boring. And she's absolutely right, because I'm tired of people whining. I am so sick of people whining on the left and the right. What in the hell are you bitching about? Yes, gas is up. Oh, really? Well, then why aren't you seeing a difference in your 401k and every other kind of opportunity? You're not paying attention. You're worrying about the pub. I go to the pub. Robin goes to the pub. Ashley goes to the pub. I don't give a crap. I understand the opportunity he's providing me. And I knew last night when I went to bed, and I went, oh boy, they're going to do it, aren't they? They're really going to do it. Once I saw the red carpet roll out, once I saw how they treated President Trump, once I saw the band playing YMCA, I'm like, oh, it's on. Most of America didn't see it. Most of America wakes up and hears these people complain all day. I can't even imagine living like that. I can't even imagine waking up going, oh, woe is me. What do I have to do today? I know Robin would stick her foot up my rear end. I know Ashley would probably come down here and stick her foot up my rear end. I get emails from people. People are saying, like, hey, I like the ideas that you're talking about real estate. Can you show me how to do this? Can you show me how to do that? And it excites me because I think some people are getting it, and that's the motivation I need. That's my mainlining. That's my fentanyl. Knowing that some people understand what this president is doing. And I hear people like, I won't name their names, go through, well, none of his promises are coming true. No, he's not doing anything. He's ignoring MAGA. Do you really feel like President Trump is ignoring MAGA? Do you really feel that the plan he put out there is being, I don't know, ignored? Then you're not paying attention. What's the best way? And he said it. I'm going to obliterate the deep state. What's the best way to do that? Well, the best way to do that is make them not have access to their money. How else? Arrest them? They're going to put some patsies in jail and have the judges play with them. No, here's how I'm going to do it. I'm going to take away their money. And I know what's going to happen. I know they're going to try to kill me. I know I'm making life difficult for them. And I bet he didn't expect there'd be a whole bunch of people on X talking crap. Yesterday, I told you today I was going to talk about the MK Ultra stuff. And every single day I'm looking at somebody else who loses their credibility. And I'm like, Anna Paulina Luna, you made that up too? It didn't sound right to any of us, but now that's blowing up, and like people are like, what are you people talking about? Every single time we try to make some advancement, this man's overseas kicking butt. And you got people here in our country trying to start crap. It's amazing. So if there's anything I can help impart upon you today is start looking at things from a different perspective. Start looking at things as if the global market that you see on a daily basis, one, you can participate in. Two, educate yourself so you're not one of the adults walking around trying to figure out what you're going to do. I try to tell you all the time. And I look at this and I think to myself, Barry, yeah, did anybody make any moves yesterday? Or maybe did anybody make any moves 2 days ago? You remember the guy you voted for? What did he say when he was standing out by the helicopter as he was asking questions? What has he said for months? This thing is going to take off. This thing is going to just shoot, go crazy. And you're sitting there watching Jensen, Elon Musk, Tim Cook, all these captains of industries sitting there talking with Xi Jinping, and you didn't think that was going to happen? You weren't putting in something and realize, what can I do here? And I'm not trying to give people a hard time. I'm just trying to tell you the signs are there. And so I asked Ashley, why are people not doing it? Why are they not taking advantage of this? And her answer to me was very interesting. She goes, people say they voted for President Trump, but they may not trust President Trump because nobody has ever been this transparent. The man says, I'm going to hit a home run. And instead of going, I can't wait till he hits the home run. Wow, I know he's going to hit a home run. Some people are like, I wonder if he can. And he keeps telling you, if we're going to do this, it's a golden era, bada bing, bada boom. This is what we're going to do. And people don't pay attention. When you look at people making money, when you look at how all of this is coming out, you're looking at the left, and all they're complaining about is illegals, racism. What else they throw in there? Fascism, DEI. Stop me if I get to anything that resembles anything about prosperity. Not a word. Not a frickin' word. And on here, this side, President Trump has been telling us the entire time, complete transparency. This thing is going to take off. You saw 16 CEOs get out of planes and head over there. You saw Elon running around with little X. Everybody was smiling. You don't smile at an execution. You smile when you're all in there about to have a big, big party. It's not hard to get an invitation. You just have to go. How many times have you gotten invitations to parties and then afterwards somebody goes, hey man, you should have been there. I mean, you should have been at this party. And you're sitting there at the water cooler on Monday. Oh, last weekend, man, it was awesome. Where were you? How come you didn't go? And you have to make up some excuse. Well, guess what? This party has an open invitation. And every single day you can see what's going on at the party. It's you who are choosing not to accept the invitation. And then you expect someone else to tell you why nothing's happening the way you want it to happen. You didn't go to the party and meet the girl. You didn't go to the party and meet the guy. You didn't go to the party and have a great time dancing. You stayed home and got pissed off because you didn't go. You found out afterwards. We've all been there. We have all gone back to work or anywhere and go, hey man, I can't believe I missed this party. It was fantastic. But what happens when that happens? You're like, I'm not going to miss it again. You bet your butt if that this dude has a party at his house, we're all there. And I heard the stories. I had the fun. Oh, yeah, we're going to make sure we're there. We're going to be at that next concert. We're going to be at that next event because it was awesome. Well, you get that chance every single day with President Trump. Nobody's stopping you. It's a giant party. The water's great. Jump in, learn how to swim if you don't know how. You got to learn. But I can see where I'm going. You know the puff reference I always use. And I'm going to show you something here in a second to basically underscore that because it is going there. And I've been telling you now for, I don't know, a couple of years, and it's only going to get better. Wait until you see what happens when they start announcing the deals that came back. Wait until, we just heard one. And you see what happened. One deal. Boeing. Wait till they announce what NVIDIA is going to do. Wait till they announce what they're going to do with chips and AI. And you're going to miss the party if you're not paying attention. And I understand, in closing on this thing here, I understand, especially after talking to Ashley, it's scary. it's scary to walk over the edge and go, am I going to be okay? Am I all right? Well, you pray for a lot of things. Pray for some sort of guidance in this regard to say, I trust this man. I voted for him 2 or 3 times. I can see afterwards what happened at the party. I'd like to have some discernment in my life to understand what I need to do personally today. Make your commitment today to learn how you don't miss the next dance, because they keep coming. You guys know when I started talking about Lear and Lear Capital way back, how much silver was. And I was telling you, man, you need to buy some silver. And silver was 25 bucks an ounce. I'm like, hey, man, you need to get some of this. And then it was 40. And you missed those parties. Everybody had the party. Everybody who did so was like, yeah, man, I got some. I'm in. I got it. It was a great party. And now it's 85, 86, which is up from, last 5 days. The party keeps being played. You're just not coming in and dancing to the music. Every time he does his rally and he does YMCA, you love the music, but you're watching from the bleachers. That's the difference. You got to change that, because damn, we just saw it. You're going to see more. I'm going to show it to you. SV, where you at, bro?
Hey, how you doing there? Good afternoon.
I'm doing good, man. I'm doing good.
I have about a 2-minute read from Clandestine. You follow him, I believe, right?
Oh, yeah.
It's very apropos. I sent it to you on X if you want to bring it up, and I can read it.
Yeah, very well. Is this the one where I got it fixed? It works here, right?
Let's see.
Let's see here.
Split screen.
Bada bing. There you
go.
There
it is.
Okay.
Perfect. All right. So Clandestine, this is very interesting. I have to agree with this. He says, I think we are witnessing the dawn of a new world. Z speaks highly of Trump and his vision to make America great again, and says that the modernization and rejuvenation of China can be done hand in hand with the U.S., and we can work together to make the world a better place. What if Trump and Z agreed it was time to end the hostilities and treat each other as partners instead of adversaries, on a collision course for war? I believe we are witnessing the birth of a new relationship between the USA and China, while the EU and NATO are being squeezed out of the global stage. I think Trump offered China a seat at the table, and in return, they agreed to stand down while Trump completes the world's most powerful reset. I think Trump and Xi have been working together in some capacity, meaning that World War III was never a possibility, and Trump has had the situation secure the entire time. China and Russia turned their backs on Iran and turned a blind eye, while Trump removes their influence in our hemisphere. The entire global system is changing, and the nations that the U.S. call their allies may be a lot different in the not so distant future. I love this.
It's almost like he wrote my script for me or something there.
Yeah, that's why I said I had to read it. I'm like, perfect segue. What do you think?
Where was it when he said didn't he almost said, he said a seat at the table, which is pretty much, break. Oh, here it is. I think Trump offered China a seat at the table. Yeah, he made the invitation.
Yes,
Let me show you how we can do this, is pretty much what I'm thinking President Trump said to him. And Here we are in 2026, and Xi Jinping was like, no one's ever said this to me. Nobody has ever said, listen, we're all going to just make a lot of money. You ready for this? Legally, we're not going to do anything bad. We just got to take care of these nut jobs over here who want to blow everything up. And
think about it too.
Uh-huh.
Go ahead.
No,
go ahead. I'm sorry. I was going to say that. I mean,
it's ideology versus business, and that's
correct.
the problem with the left here. The left is working nonstop on ideology. They want to change the way you think, and these guys are like, let's do business.
Yeah. Well, it's TDS as well, mainly. I mean, anything he does it's just TDS. So, I mean, China realizes, the longer this blockade goes on, it's going to affect them financially. Of course, it already has. But, think about getting that oil via Alaska. It's cheaper, faster. I mean, win-win, right?
Yeah.
Win-win for us.
I mean,
So
it's right right there. You know what I mean?
yeah, right.
You don't have to
You don't have to go
go
all
ship.
around your elbow to your rear end. Yeah,
No,
exactly. Oh,
it's
I
very
I
simple.
love it.
And it's, you know, what he mentions in here. Let me pull this back up. Maybe some people hadn't heard. I guess like 70% of people didn't see it when he says Z speaks highly of Trump and his vision to make America great again. When you hear him actually say the words, that's why I made the thumbnail the way
That's
I did.
amazing.
He
Yeah.
actually said, "Make America great again." The other superpower in the world is basically saying, "Okay, I understand what you're saying," and you've got people on the left just they're just missing it, or they
They're
don't want
flipping
you to
out.
see it. Yeah, they're flipping out.
Yeah. I mean, they played YMCA. I mean, what? What? Meanwhile, here in the United States, Brett Blackman, owner of a healthcare software company, just got convicted in a $1 billion Medicare fraud conspiracy. His platform auto-generated fake doctors' orders and prescriptions to scam Medicare and other programs out of over $1 billion. The DOJ literally coded the fraud at industrial scale. I mean, just keep on getting. Remember the elephant's trunk? We're just pulling more out.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
they also got the fraud up in Maine. They said the fraud in Maine. Well, I hope you're not going to address that, or if you don't, I
Yeah,
can say it. JD Vance.
I've got
You got a cue?
some clips of JD that I'm going to show
Okay.
everybody as
I'll
well.
leave that for you then.
All right,
Okay.
yeah, then we can talk about it when we get to that point. But he hammered.
So much
he
news.
he made a full speech, but I took some of the best clips for it, and we talked
Okay.
about that. All right, I'll be back at you. All right.
See you soon.
Yeah, you know, it's I didn't know SV was gonna put that article up there, that tweet, but that's exactly it. And I'm sitting here smiling because how can other people not see this? How can, I mean, I watched the guy today who was complaining about everything like they always do. And I realized as I was watching him, like, you're BSing. You're just saying this because your idiot audience wants to believe that everything sucks so bad and that Trump, you know, he's not living up to what he says and blah, 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 blah. Absolutely crazy. Absolutely crazy. Real quickly, let me tell you guys about Lear Capital. Nice segue there. There was we talking about the actual gold and silver market, which I've been talking to you guys about probably going on 2 years at this point. You know, you've seen the headlines. You know, major banks are predicting gold could climb over $6,000 an ounce, with silver skyrocketing up to maybe $200 to $300 an ounce. The news is finally catching up to what I've known for years and been trying to tell you. The value of the dollar is under assault, and the demand for gold and silver is exploding. Which, if you're seeing what they're doing in China, you can see it's going to be exploding with all the AI stuff. But who you trust with your money matters just as much as what you buy. That's why I trust Lear Capital. They are an education first company that prioritizes customer experience over a quick sale. And because of that, Lear has thousands of satisfied customers, over $3 billion in transactions, and they offer something truly unique, a 24-hour risk-free purchase guarantee, so you don't have to pay unless you are completely satisfied. And for those interested in moving some of your retirement dollars from a 401k into gold and silver, and I'm only talking about actual gold and silver. I'm not talking about certificates. Lear was recently named the best overall gold IRA company by Consumer Affairs. So if you're considering gold and silver, call the best in the business. Give them 10 minutes. That's it. No pressure. See if gold or silver is right for you. Call my friends at Lear Capital. Give them 10 minutes and they'll help you get started today. 800-601-5430, 800-601-5430, or go to learberry.com and download one or more of the free reports that they have on their website. And you can also qualify for up to $20,000 in bonus gold or silver. So give them a call, 800-601-5430, or go to learberry.com.
One man is being victimized by our own government. One man whom they fear, yet whom millions love. One man who is willing to take the poison arrows of lawfare. One man whose voice has been taken away by a corrupt judge operating in a corrupt system. One man who has been ridiculed and insulted. One man who refused to back down. One man who refused to back down. One man who refused to back down. One man who stands between us and them. One man that wants to see America protected again. One man who wants to see America prosper again. One man who understands that a man is a man and a woman is a woman. One man who understands and protects the blessing of life. One man who wants to restore American exceptionalism. One man who once again wants to make America that shining city on a hill for all to see. A place where all the people of the world glowingly set their eyes upon. America. One man who unashamedly wants to make America great again. That one man is Donald Trump.
This is Fanfare with Barry Cunningham.
We just got a readout from the White House on this big bilateral meeting between the two presidents. So I'll read a couple of notes that I've taken away from this statement. They talked about expanding market access for American businesses into China. Remember, the president brought this delegation of 16 CEOs from different business and tech backgrounds. They also talked about wanting more progress on stopping the flow of fentanyl. That's something the president brought up. Now, the Chinese purchases of American agricultural products was also something that was brought up in these discussions. And President Xi expressed interest in purchasing more American oil to reduce China's dependence on the strait in the future. That's a really...
All right. She just kind of yada yada and went through that pretty fast. Haven't heard many other people talk about it, but that's a big, big, big thing. And I was waiting to hear that that was going to be what was on the table, that they were looking to buy more American oil. That, I think, they downplayed it, they talked about it, but now let's see how it actually transpires, how it comes together, how much oil are they going to buy from the United States? What is the United States going to offer them in return? How are they going to use that as collateral and as a cudgel against Iran? Iran can't afford much at this point. So anything that moves away from their economy to the United States is really going to cripple them that much more. And so at this point, as I keep talking about where the puck is going, now barring something crazy happening, there is going to be a purchase of oil from China to from the United States. And it won't be a one-time thing. Nobody comes and buys one potato chip. They're going to continue to buy oil on an ongoing basis. And if the relationship goes well, it gets shipped, it's a good quality oil, and there's no problems, they're going to continue to buy more. Like SV said, Alaska's a lot closer and a lot less hassle than all the way over there in Iran. Can you imagine if there's a partnership of sorts between China and the United States on oil.
Big takeaway. So we're going to focus on that as well. Also, both countries agree that Iran can never have a nuclear weapon. And after reading through this readout, there was really nothing in there that said that China was going to help pressure Iran in any way to ending the conflict. We were wondering if that.
They didn't have to. Okay, news people, pay attention. The stuff that you did just read, the stuff that you did just announce to the world, that all different news channels are going to be announcing, that was the help with Iran. I'm like, how did you miss that? I don't expect Iran to go fly planes and drop bombs. I don't expect Xi Jinping to get involved in negotiations. Trump said, I got this. That's how I know, because he said it. I don't need your help. So why would you be surprised when, like, well, you know, we didn't hear anything about China pressuring Iran. Trump already told you before the meeting, I don't need that. He got what he wanted. He got what he needs. Just turn off the spigot. Everybody's talking about it. You don't think the mullahs heard that? Like, what do you mean you're going to buy oil from Donald Trump? Oh, wait, we got a problem. What do you mean? And now what that does is they can't retaliate against China, because China said, we're not getting involved. We're not going to, pressure Iran, winkety wink wink, because we don't have to. We're just going to buy from another supplier. Are you telling me you're our exclusive supplier? No, we're going to buy from another supplier. We're not involved in your war unless you want to make us involved, unless you think you're going to do something to us. Unless you're going to send some suicide squads over here. You want some of this? I'm being facetious here, but Iran is stuck. Their girl, China, just decided to date somebody else, and they got completely cucked.
Was going to come up. It has been an incredibly busy day for the president, touring around all over Beijing. The president began his day with a visit to the Great Hall of People at the heart of the city, where he was greeted by President Xi. The delegation heard the national anthem along with a 21-gun salute, and the two leaders then had a bilateral meeting. And the president commented on his relationship with Xi. Watch.
You and I have known each other now for a long time. In fact, the longest relationship of our two countries that any president and president has had. And that's, to me, an honor. We've had a fantastic relationship. We've gotten along. When there were difficulties, we worked it out. I would call you and you would call me. And whenever we had a problem, people don't know, whenever we had a problem, we worked that out very quickly.
Okay, so there's something, little insight. People don't know. See, I love listening to the words he says, because if people don't know, then we didn't know. Now we do. He just told us something. Sometimes you're all pissed off like people get, and you and I work our stuff out. Like we're supposed to. Big boys here, adults at the table. We're not dropping bombs on each other. We work things out. Most people don't know that. Well, he's letting the world know, this dude here and I, we talk. We have a relationship. So anybody who's listening or watching this entire thing, bad guys and good guys, now they know this guy just signaled to the world that he's been talking back channel to Xi Jinping, and they've been doing it for quite some time. But people don't know that. Now, the other thing I also wondered when I heard that is, well, quite some time, you haven't been president for quite some time. Were you still doing deals with, China, backdoor? I don't know. But he just said people don't know what you and I do.
And we're going to have a fantastic future together.
So once the bilateral was over, we actually got several statements from the Chinese side almost immediately. This is a not so thinly veiled warning from the Chinese Ministry of Foreign Affairs spokeswoman on Taiwan, the issue of Taiwan, which, by the way, gets a ton of its defense weapons from the U.S. And this is what she wrote. President Xi stressed to President Trump that the Taiwan question is the most important issue in China-U.S. relations. If it is handled properly, the bilateral relationship will enjoy overall stability. Now, here's the moment a reporter shouts a question at the two leaders about Taiwan, and watch what happens next.
How were your talks, sir?
It's great.
Did you talk about Taiwan,
Great
Mr.
place.
President?
Incredible.
She lied. I'm going to show you that. I think I did. They were talking about his visit to the, not the immortal city, what do they call it? The Forbidden City, the Stairway to Heaven thing that they have there in China. Hey, what did you think about that? He said, great. It's a beautiful place. And she tried to make it look like he was talking about Taiwan.
China's beautiful.
Yeah, neither wanted to say anything about it. Meanwhile, Iran looming in the background as a report overnight indicates that Iran may have taken a vessel near the Strait of Hormuz. While President Trump says he does not need Xi's help in ending the conflict, administration officials did go into this bilat saying that they were hoping to see China play a role, considering that it buys the largest amount of Iranian crude.
He just told you the role based upon that they buy the most Iranian crude. They're going to buy it from us. I'm like, what do these people do when they write these hits for these people who are just reading off a screen?
We've made the argument to the Chinese, and I hope it's compelling. The Chinese have ships stuck in the Persian Gulf because setting up a system that says we're going to let certain ships through but others not, it's easier said than done. It's a huge source of instability. It threatens to destabilize Asia more than any other part of the world. It's in their interest to resolve this. We hope to convince them to play a more active role.
And remember, there were a huge contingency of CEOs that were present at the ceremony today. We saw them leaving the bilateral early, meaning that the president did what he said. He was going to make his first ask to Xi to open up China to these companies. Of course, the guys, they want to do business in China as long as it's safe to do business in China. The state banquet is up next, and then the first interview with Sean Hannity airs later tonight. We will find out much more directly from the president on what he got out of President Xi today.
She stumbled over that, but she is correct. The dinner is up next. So I wanted you to see that. That was like an appetizer. And then now we'll watch the dinner and just listen to, I'll jump in it a couple of times here because I want you guys to really pay attention as to what they say. In fact, there's something that President Trump does that is pretty much a big sign of respect. We'll get to that.
The welcoming banquet hosted by President Xi Jinping for President Donald J. Trump now begins.
首先，请习近平主席致辞。
Now a toast by President Xi.
尊敬的特朗普总统，女士们、先生们，很高兴为特朗普总统对中国进行国事访问举行国宴。首先，我代表中国政府和中国人民，对特朗普总统和美国代表团表示热烈欢迎。
Honorable President Donald J. Trump, ladies and gentlemen, it is a great pleasure to host the state banquet in honor of President Trump during his state visit to China. On behalf of the Chinese government and people, I'd like to extend a warm welcome to President Trump and the U.S. delegation.
这是一次历史性访问。今年是中国15开局之年，14亿多中国人民立足于5000多年中华文明深厚基础，正在以高质量发展全面推进中国式现代化。今年也是美国独立250周年，3亿多美国人民正在重振爱国、创新、开拓精神，推动美国发展迈向新的征程。中美两国人民都是伟大的人民，实现中华民族伟大复兴和让美国再伟大，完全可以并行不悖，相互成就，造福世界。
This is a historic visit. This year marks the start of China's 15th five-year plan for economic and social development. The over 1.4 billion people of China, drawing on the rich heritage of our over 5,000-year civilization, are advancing Chinese modernization on all fronts through high-quality development. This year is also the 250th anniversary of American independence. The over 300 million American people are reinvigorating the spirit of patriotism, innovation, and enterprise, and ushering in a new journey for the development of the United States. The people of China and the United States are both great peoples. Achieving the great rejuvenation of the Chinese nation and making America great again can go hand in hand. We can help each other succeed and advance the well-being of the whole world.
What you want to do? What you want to help make America great again and advance the well-being of the whole world? Right now, this is why the libtards are doing, conniptions. He just said it. I want to help make America great again. Oh my God!
55年前，尼克松总统派基辛格博士访华，中美开展乒乓外交，双方官民并举，推开了中美冰封20多年的大门，成为当代国际关系史上重大事件。此后，中美之间以很多开放合作的故事，不断书写着友谊的佳话。新形势下，我同特朗普总统顺应两国人民和国际社会期待，通过多次会晤和通话，推动中美关系保持总体稳定。
55 years ago, President Richard Nixon sent Dr. Henry Kissinger to visit China, and ping-pong diplomacy was carried out between our two countries. Through efforts of the two governments and peoples, the door that had remained frozen for over 20 years was opened, marking a milestone in contemporary international relations. From then on, China and the United States have written many chapters of friendship through mutual openness and cooperation. Under the new situation, President Trump and I fully aware of the expectations of our two nations and the international community, have had multiple meetings and phone calls and kept China-US relations generally stable.
今天，我同特朗普总统就中美关系和国际及地区形势深入交换意见。我们一致认为，中美关系是当今世界最重要的双边关系，只能搞好，不能搞坏。两国合则两利，斗则俱伤，应该成为伙伴而不是对手。我们同意构建中美建设性战略稳定关系，推动中美关系稳定、健康、可持续发展，为世界带来更多和平、繁荣、进步。
Today, President Trump and I had in-depth exchanges on China-US relations and international and regional dynamics. We both believe that the China-US relationship is the most important bilateral relationship in the world. We must make it work and never mess it up. Both China and the United States stand to gain from cooperation and lose from confrontation. Our two countries should be partners rather than rivals.
Boom. Where's my clap thing? Boom. That gave me goosey bumps. Our two countries should be partners. I mean, that should be like a shot heard round the world. I want to be your partner, not your adversary. We don't need to be in conflict. We need to make this money together. We need to rock the bank at this point. I need to be your partner. If you've never been partners with somebody in business, you may not understand the sense of what he just said. I want to entrust in you. I need you to entrust in me. Democrats have no idea what that means. They don't want it to be that way. They will go ahead and vilify this, but this man just said, we are better as partners than as adversaries. That's absolutely huge. Watch your 401ks, man.
President Trump and I also agreed to build a constructive China-US relationship of strategic stability to promote the steady, sound, and sustainable development of China-US relations and bring more peace, prosperity, and progress to the world.
I can't believe I'm hearing this. Right now, every one of you hearing this must be going, wait a second, am I really understanding the true global reset that we're seeing? I want to help promote your prosperity. I want you to do the same here. Mutual prosperity. This is where this has been going the entire time. And you have people, look at people on the left who just want nothing to do with this. You should be wondering, why is it that people have a problem with prosperity? The leader of the I would call the second superpower, that's what he wants for his people. Prosperity is a much bigger deterrent than any bombs you will ever have. Just to let you know, I just got an email, and let's see, what time was this email that came in, just so I can make sure I don't say it right, say it wrong. It's from the Miami Herald, right down here. It may not have hit the national news as of yet, and it's right there in my email. I don't know if you guys can see it or not. Look. Cuba accepts $100 million U.S. aid offer. Cuba just now, this was at 4:51 p.m. Cuba, and there's a picture of Marco Rubio, right? Hold on, where is it? Marco Rubio right there. And it says, Cuba accepts $100 million U.S. aid offer. The country says, and I quote, "It's our personal opinion. You cannot change the economic trajectory of Cuba as long as the people who are in charge of it remain in charge. So we accept your $100 million. See, the idea is people are wondering, are we going to have to go in with the discombobulator to Cuba? No, let's just spread prosperity. Man, that greenback is so much more powerful than any bomb. You want some of this? You want some, hey, Cuba, you want some of this? You want some gold, silver? You want some cash? Quit being idiots. So if we're giving them $100 million, what do you think they're giving us? That literally just happened. I haven't read the article yet. Let's get back to China. It's happening that fast.
尊敬的特朗普总统先生、女士们、先生们、朋友们，纵观中美关系发展历程，能不能做到相互尊重、和平共处、合作共赢，是中美关系能否稳定发展的关键所在。当今世界变乱交织，中美关系承载着两国17亿多人民的福祉，关乎世界80多亿人民的利益。我们应当共同扛起这个历史重任，推动中美关系这艘巨轮沿着正确的航道平稳前行。
Honorable President Donald J. Trump, ladies and gentlemen, friends. Looking back at the course of China-US relations, whether or not we could have mutual respect, peaceful coexistence, and win-win cooperation is the key to whether the relationship can advance steadily. The world today is changing and turbulent. China-US relations concern the well-being of the over 1.7 billion people of both countries and affect the interests of the over 8 billion people of the world. Both sides should rise up to this historic responsibility and steer the giant ship of China-US relations forward, steadily and in the right direction.
最后，我提议为中美两国发展繁荣和人民幸福，为中美关系的美好未来和两国人民的友谊，为特朗普总统以及在座的各位朋友的健康干杯。
Now please join me in a toast to the development and prosperity of China and the United States and the well-being of our people, to the bright future of China-US relations and the friendship between the two peoples, and to the health of President Trump and all the friends present. Cheers.
干杯。
Cheers.
谢谢习近平主席。
Thank you, President Xi.
现在请特朗普总统致辞。
Next, a toast by President Trump.
Well, thank you very much. This is a great honor. It was a fantastic day. And in particular, I want to thank President Xi, my friend, for this magnificent welcome. And it really was a magnificent welcome like none other. And for so graciously hosting us on this very historic state visit. We had extremely positive and productive conversations and meetings today with the Chinese delegation earlier. And this evening is another cherished opportunity to discuss among friends some of the things that we discussed today, all good for the United States and for China. And it was a great honor to be with you. Please.
感谢习近平主席。今天我们度过了非常美好的一天。首先要感谢习近平主席这一盛大的欢迎，那么也非常感谢在这一次历史性的国事访问当中非常慷慨地接待了我的代表团。那么今天早些时候，我们跟中方进行了富有成效以及具有建设性的对话。那今天晚上将是我们另外的一次机会，能够共同再次讨论我们今天早些时候已经讨论到的一些问题，以及我们的共同利益，以及我们如何能够为全人类塑造更好、更安全的未来。
The relationship between the American and Chinese people goes all the way back to America's founding. The first American consul to China, Samuel Shaw, arrived on the first American trading ship to reach these shores in 1784. The Chinese merchants had a name for the Americans. They called their visions the New People. 2.5 centuries later, that first connection has grown into one of the most consequential relationships in world history.
美国人民和中国人民之间的友谊可以追溯到美国的建国之初。那么，美国的第一任驻华大使萨缪尔·肖先生在1784年乘坐第一艘美国的商船到达了中国的沿岸。当时中国的商人是这样称呼到来的美国访客，他们将当时到来的美国访客称为一个崭新的民族。250年后的今天，这一个当初的友谊已经慢慢的演变成为当今世界当中最举足轻重的关系之一。
From the beginning, our citizens have shared a deep sense of mutual respect. Founding Father Benjamin Franklin published the sayings of Confucius in his colonial newspaper, and today's sculpture, recognizing that ancient Chinese sage, is carved into the face of the United States Supreme Court very proudly.
从一开始，我们两国之间的人民就已经有深厚的相互的尊重。美国的国父本杰明·富兰克林曾经在他的殖民报纸当中刊登了孔子的《论语》，而今天在美国最高法院建筑物的门前，可以说有一个雕刻，这个雕刻就是为了向中国的这一名古代的圣人进行致敬。
The appreciation ran in both directions. Chinese admirers of President George Washington gifted a stone tablet honoring his memory to adorn the Washington Monument. It bears the words of a Chinese official who called the great general and statesman a hero among men.
这一种欣赏是相互的。那么许多中国人非常崇敬乔治·华盛顿总统。那么这些人当时就向美国捐赠了一个石碑，就是为了纪念华盛顿总统。目前这个石碑已经镶嵌在华盛顿纪念碑里面，石碑上刻有当时的一名中国官员形容这一名伟大的将军和政治家，他们把他称为人中豪杰。
And across the centuries, this mutual esteem grew into a relationship that reflected the tremendous talent and potential of our two people. Chinese workers helped lay the railroad tracks that connected our Atlantic coast to the Pacific. American travelers to China helped spread literacy and modern medicine, and at the request of China's ambassador, it was President Theodore Roosevelt who provided the funds to establish President Xi's alma mater, Tsinghua University.
在过去几百年当中，这种相互的尊敬已经成为了一段全新的关系。这段关系可以说反映出我们两国人民之间巨大的潜力以及我们的努力和智慧。中国工人当初帮助美国建设了我们的铁路路轨，连通了美国的大西岸和太平洋沿海地区。美国当时早期出访中国的美国人也帮助中国提升了识字率， 并且引入了现代医学，并且应时任中国驻华大使的请求，罗斯福总统也专门提供了资金，成立了习主席的母校清华大学。
As allies in World War II, President Franklin Roosevelt's mentions of the brave people of China, that's what they were, drew loud cheers in his speeches in the United States, and everybody loved what he had to say. Just as many Chinese now love basketball and blue jeans, Chinese restaurants in America today outnumber the 5 largest fast food chains in the United States, all combined. That's a pretty big statement.
那么，作为二战期间的盟国，罗斯福总统在美国的多次演讲当中提到了勇敢的中国人民。正如当前许多中国人非常喜欢篮球和穿蓝色的牛仔裤，在美国目前的中餐厅的数量要比美国前5大快餐连锁店的总的店面还要多。
This bond of commerce and respect that stretches back 250 years is the foundation for a future that benefits both of our nations. The American and Chinese people share much in common. We value hard work, we value courage and achievement, we love our families, and we love our countries. Together we have the chance to draw on these values to create a future of greater prosperity, cooperation, and happiness, and peace for our children. We love our children. This region and the world, it's a special world with the two of us united and together.
那么至于商业当中的纽带以及我们的相互尊重，可以说追溯到250年前，是我们将要构建的未来的基础。至于未来将会惠及我们两国的人民，美国人民和中国人民有许多的共同点，我们都崇尚劳动，我们都崇尚勇气和成就，我们都非常爱我们的家庭，我们也爱我们的国家。我们两国一道，我们将有机会基于我们共同的价值观，创造出一个更加繁荣、基于合作、幸福、和平的未来，为我们的子孙、为本地区以及全世界造福。
Thank you again, President Xi, for this beautiful welcome. And tonight it is my honor to extend an invitation to you and Madam Peng to visit us at the White House this September 24th. And we look forward to it. And I'd now like to raise a glass and propose a toast to the rich and enduring ties between the American and Chinese people. It's a very special relationship. And I want to thank you again. This has been an amazing period of time. Thank you, President Xi.
那么再一次感谢习主席，感谢这一美好。
Okay, so pay attention to this. President Trump, from all accounts, has not drunk any alcohol since his brother died years ago. And out of a show of respect, he takes a sip of this champagne, and you can tell it's champagne because he kind of like flinches after he gets the alcohol, because it's sort of like, I don't drink anymore except for like daiquiris, but if I drink scotch, yeah, watch him here. First time since his brother died.
我的欢迎。那么今天晚上，我也想借此机会向您以及彭女士提出邀请，于9月24号邀请你们出访白宫。那我也希望，针对美国人民和中国人民之间深厚的以及持久的友谊，我提议我们进行举杯。那么我们这两国关系是非常独特的一项关系。
Thank you, everybody.
感谢。
Thank you, everybody, very much.
感谢。
Excuse me. Yeah, we are so back. Absolutely. Now, I did want to show you. I saw that article and I found it. It was on my phone, but I found it online as well. I want to bring this up to you so you guys can take a look at this, because again, this is absolutely huge. It says Cuba accepts $100 million U.S. Aid offer as the country says it has run out of oil. They're done. They're absolutely done. Cuba's leader, Miguel Diaz-Canel, said Thursday that his government will accept the U.S. offer to provide $100 million in humanitarian aid as the country runs out of fuel and Washington signals its impatience with stalled diplomatic talks between the two countries. Secretary of State Marco Rubio last Friday said the U.S. government had offered to send $100 million in humanitarian aid to the country, but that the Cuban authorities had not accepted it. Today, they're like, okay, we'll take it. Earlier this week, Cuban Foreign Minister Bruno Rodriguez said his government had no knowledge of the offer and accused Rubio of lying. Doesn't he look stupid right now? It says, but after the State Department on Wednesday said the offer was still standing, Diaz-Canel said the Cuban government would not stand in its way. If the United States government is truly prepared to provide aid in amounts it has announced and in full conformity with universally recognized practices for humanitarian assistance, it will encounter neither obstacles nor ingratitude on the part of Cuba. However, inconsistent and paradoxical such an offer may seem to people whom the very same U.S. government systematically and ruthlessly subjects to collective punishment, he wrote in a posting on X. Yeah, okay, save face any way you want. You're still coming in begging. The State Department said that aid could be distributed by the Catholic Church and other reliable independent humanitarian organizations. Rubio discussed the aid delivery in a meeting at the Vatican with Pope Leo last week. So very interesting. He went to the Vatican. You heard him last night in Sean Hannity's interview. He talked about what he was doing at the Vatican. Now they confirm it in Cuba, that it seems as though the Pope was an intermediary in telling the guys in Cuba, you don't have any other choice. This is it. This bus leaves and you don't get this money. I don't know what's going to happen to you. So now we're going to see some serious diplomacy. As soon as he gets back from China, I'm pretty sure we're going to see Marco Rubio heading into Cuba. You're next. You're on the clock, Cuba. Absolutely on the clock. Let me see if I can go to SB real quick, see if he's got any news. What do you got over there? Anything, man?
Oh, there's always something going on here. Let's see. So Trump wins again. Let's do it. U.S. House rejects the War Powers resolution meant to block military action against Iran from President Trump. But it was 212 to 212. So we had three, Collins, Murkowski, and Rand Paul, I believe, voted with the Dems. Oh, my goodness.
Wait a minute. No. Colin and Murkowski are, and I think Rand Paul, they're all senators. So when you said 212 to 212, that had to be a House vote. So
yeah, I did say House. Yeah. It said the U.S. House rejects.
Yeah, those Collins, Murkowski, and Rand Paul are in the Senate. So I'm not sure who voted against it.
Maybe. Okay, I'll have to look into that. But they say the useless resolutions are failing every single week at this point. So the Democrats are traitors, enemies of the people.
They got nothing. I heard as I was perusing, there was a little scuffle between the United States Secret Service and whatever they call it, the Secret Service in China. They didn't want the United Secret Service guys to carry weapons, and the United States Secret Service guys like, no, we are definitely carrying our weapons, and so they worked it out. But watch the media; they'll.
It got heated, though. It got heated.
Yeah, as it would. I mean, you're putting the pit bulls against the pit bulls, and trying to keep everybody safe. So I would expect it. So yeah. All right.
I have another story. So earlier, the Louisiana Senate passed their new redistricting map, so they got another seat. Of course, Jeffries is losing his crap again. And something interesting about my commie state, I kind of expected this, but you know, the Cato Institute, that libertarian think tank organization, they basically, they told Congress that 1 in 5 people in Fairfax County, that's that huge county in Northern Virginia, 1 in 5 people are either illegal or living with one. And then they're begging Congress to not deport them. So you got 20% of a major Virginia county flooded with illegals. I mean, that's the one that, remember, at the last second, everything was going.
20% of your occupancy. No wonder they're freaking out. 20%. Oh my gosh.
Hey, Barry, if I start blinking twice, save me, man.
What did they do? I mean, Fairfax, is that the one that's right outside of Washington?
Yeah, it's one of the counties, and it's got like 1.7 million people in it. It's
and so 20% is 340,000 people are in one county of the country. 340,000 aren't supposed to be here. Well,
what a coinkydink.
You probably see the trucks rolling up pretty soon. Hey, Tom, yeah, we got 300,000 here. Oh my goodness. I wonder how many of them voted. Oh my gosh.
Well, I'm sure they all voted. Not once, but probably twice or 3 times. That's how they swayed the vote, because it was very close. It was like 52 to 48% or something like that.
So wait a minute. Why was he telling? Okay, so he's for the Democrats, I assume, and he was testifying. Why would you give that information out? What was he hoping to obtain?
They're not very bright. I guess they're hoping, hey, maybe if we say don't deport them, they won't. Well, thanks for letting us know, because, like you said, that they're going to be knocking on some doors, right?
Yeah. 350.
I saw that as an earlier story, and I was dumbfounded. Like, really? They're actually telling you that 1 in 5 in Fairfax are illegal? Okay.
Wow.
I want to be on the road around that area too, because none of them probably read the road signs, right? They're getting CDLs and
put a roadblock around Fairfax County and just have your way with it. They just start picking. That's why they're freaking out about having people at the polling locations, because they know that they've seeded these counties with hundreds of thousands of people. Oh my God.
It's madness. Absolute madness.
That's crazy. Crazy. It's scary and crazy. All right. I'm gonna jump
I know.
in.
I'm like,
let me jump
I know you have
in.
to laugh because it's insane, but you have to laugh at it because you lose your mind if you'll be like Eeyore. You were saying, like, you're so tired of people complaining. I mean, I see it and I just shake my head going, what in the hell? I mean,
and how you must feel to be able to tell people, yeah, we got about 350,000 illegals here. Oh my gosh. Deputized.
My county here, I'm not going to say exactly what it is, but I'm near Richmond. It's definitely has a higher percentage of, foreigners.
Wow.
Because I see it like in Costco's when I go in. I mean, they're wearing hijabs and everything. I mean, it's I have friends in Canada, and I visit them like once or twice a year. And I was up there this past Christmas, and I went into the Walmart like I usually do to get some stuff. I thought it was in the Middle East, and then my friends said they don't shop there anymore. I said it's gotten so bad.
Wow.
Wow. Yeah, they're here. They're invading us. It continues to happen.
All right, so I'm going to roll with JD Vance after this message, but oops, so I'll see
next.
That's crazy. Oh my goodness, that's crazy. Hey, listen, if you owe back taxes or have unfiled tax returns, or if you filed every year but still you owe more money, did you retire and suddenly get hit with a tax bill you didn't expect? Maybe you're a business owner with a messy books and a balance that you can't afford to pay off. Maybe you pulled money from your 401k or IRA early, and now the IRS wants its share. However your tax issue started, the outcome is always the same. Your balance won't go backwards. It's not going to go down. Penalties grow, interest compounds, and many of you are about to owe again this year, or even potentially next year, with no real plan in place. So stop what you're doing if you're in that situation and call Tax Network USA. The IRS is not waiting. The IRS is enforcing collections through wage garnishments, bank levies, and property seizures. They can even file for you without your consent. And this is where Tax Network USA comes in. With over 15 years in business, there hasn't been a tax case they haven't been able to, they haven't, nothing they haven't seen or nothing they can't resolve. They specialize in tax controversies, and they help taxpayers nationwide get back on track by resolving back taxes and unfiled returns once and for all. Whether you owe $10,000 or $10 million, their team has resolved over $1 billion in tax debt. They can do exactly the same for you, but you have to call them. So give them a call if you're in that situation. They're offering a free investigative call with the IRS. And then after that call, they put a clear case plan in place to resolve your tax problem and get you back on track. This is about using your legal rights to take control before the government sets the terms for you. So don't wait. If you're in that situation, don't wait for another IRS letter or a frozen bank account. Call 866-686-1377. 866-686-1377, or visit tnusa.com/Barry, or click the link below in the description. All right, we'll be back in 90 seconds.
Back to Fanfare with Barry Cunningham.
So here's the difference, though. The difference one administration, the difference one political leader makes is we are now trying so hard. And I know y'all don't like Janet Mills. I don't especially care for her either. But I would love to work with the governor of Maine to stop the fraud that's being perpetrated in this state. This should not be, think about this. This should not be a red state or a blue state issue. This isn't Republican or Democrat. This is common sense. This is protecting every single person in this room from being defrauded by their own government. But you know what she's done? She has prevented local police from working with us to get criminal illegal aliens out of this state. She has actually fought back against our efforts to identify fraud in the Medicaid and Medicare programs, which, by the way, not only does it steal from you, but it means that those programs are going to go bankrupt because all the money's going to the fraudsters.
You know, it finally dawned on me. I read this stuff and I look at it every single day, and it finally dawned on me that these people have been stealing from all of us for decades, and it's coming to an abrupt halt, and that's why we're seeing the insanity we're seeing. J.D. Vance is was up in Maine today, giving that speech. He's supporting somebody up there who's running, but he talked a lot about the fraud. And I'm going to show you at the end, a reporter asks him a question, and the question is basically, why are we worried about, it's just Maine, it's just, a couple million. The Democrats are okay. They are completely fine with looking the other way on fraud, criminality, obviously immigration. They don't have, it doesn't seem to me at this point that any Democrats, at least the ones that are in office, have any scruples whatsoever. And I've had a hard time believing that. I've had a hard time thinking an entire group of people are completely without any scruples or credibility or anything. I'm thinking, well, maybe there's some here, but I mean, we're talking Maine all the way up there. And they don't care. They want to look the other, everything goes. When they say by any means necessary, they mean by any means necessary. They don't care. What do you mean? It's just like a couple million, no big deal. You're in Maine. Your state is the size of a postage stamp. And you got that kind. Well, you'll hear the number. When he says it, you're like, wait a second. You're this big. Actually, you're a big state, but you're about this big in terms of population. And, full disclosure, I love Maine. Robin and I have vacationed in Maine. It's absolutely gorgeous up there. But I don't know what's going on with these liberals lately. The entire Northeast is just bat poop crazy. They hate America. And the only thing we're good for is to, work our asses off to give them money to steal and spend. And they're wondering why there's such a disconnect in this country. How would it be if the Democrat Party simply wanted to follow the law? How much would the divide get closer if we're so far away, but you say, listen, you're racist, you're fascist, you're homophobic, you're xenophobic. All right, can everybody stand who wants to follow the law? And they won't stand. Follow the Constitution? So you're really not American. You're hanging out here trying to destroy it for people who understand what this country stands for, but you really aren't American. There are no ideals at this point that we can even discuss. It was funny. Yesterday, I was riding home, and a friend of mine, I used to work in the advertising agency. And he called and we talked, shoot the poop, and hey, how you doing, man? Things are going great. Baby, grandfather, everything is going good. And he's like, I'll be in town next Wednesday. You and Robin, we can go out to dinner. He's like, sure. And I started laughing. He's like, what are you laughing at? And I'm like, you're a Delaware Democrat. You voted for Biden. And somehow you and I could have a conversation and go to dinner together next week. Because I know him. I know his family. I watched his son go to the University of Miami and play football, and now they're married, living here in Delray, and his sister is an admiral in the Army. And I'm like, you believe in law? Yeah. You're not going to steal. I know you're not going to steal. No. We can still converse because we have a little bit of commonality, and we're intelligent adults so that we can break bread together. And I'm like, can you shut up about Biden? I don't care about Biden. Can you shut up about Trump? And we can actually converse because I know at worst case scenario, there is a link. There is some commonality. And that commonality is I'm an American. And I know it to be true because, like I just told you, his sister is an admiral in the Navy. So, of course, he salutes his sister. He loves the fact that she has made her way up. You love America. You hate Trump. Okay. But you understand what the country is all about. Remember when there used to be elections where your friend and your buddy or your family, I'm voting for Clinton. Oh, you're an idiot. Who are you voting for? I'm going to vote for Romney. And we could actually still vote for people without hating them. And now the masks have been ripped off. I don't know what's happened to these people, but all they want to do is steal from us. And now we're starting to peel that onion layer back, and they're freaking out.
So here's the thing that I've learned in fighting fraud for the last few months and focused on this issue is that fraud is the ultimate non-victimless crime. There are multiple victims in fraud. What we think about when somebody steals your tax dollars and goes and spends it on something it's not supposed to be spent on, We think of you all as the victims, the American taxpayer, the main taxpayer, the people who wake up, who go to work, who do what they're supposed to do and don't want their money stolen by people who are doing the opposite of what they're supposed to do. You were the first victim of fraud. But you know what else I've realized is that you're not the only victim of fraud. Because when people steal your money and it doesn't go to where it's supposed to go, there are a lot of people who are out there who are suffering in the process. And I'm talking about physicians who are denied their Medicaid reimbursements because a fraudster stole their identity and charged for services that weren't actually being provided. I'm talking about the good doctors who do what they're supposed to and don't like it when corrupt healthcare providers go and claim services that aren't even necessary. So then the victim is the doctor that gets stolen from, it's the taxpayer that gets stolen from, but it's also the innocent patient who should be able to know that when their doctor prescribes something, it's meant for them and it's good for them. I'm talking about the construction worker who can't buy a cell phone because when an illegal alien goes and steals their identity and applies for SNAP benefits, now all of a sudden they're tagged in the banking system, their credit score is ruined. Not because...
You know, as you think, as he's giving you these examples, you realize as he's giving you these examples, he's not saying MAGA, he's not saying Republican, the construction worker, the doctor. And he's trying to let people know the fraud that the crazy people are doing affects everybody. It doesn't matter. The fraudster doesn't care if you're a Democrat or Republican, don't care if you wear a little red hat that says "Make America Great Again" on it. They don't care. They're just stealing your money. And at this point, when you start thinking about it, and what the Democrats are talking about isn't so much that they give a crap about, you know, the Transformers or the newcomers. They don't care about them. It goes back to the beginning of the show. They care about the moolah, the money, but they can't earn it realistically, so they want to steal it. That's where the difference is. They don't have the capacity to earn. And so, you know what we're going to do? We're going to give these Somalis millions and millions of dollars. We're going to do all this Medicare fraud because we control who does the payments and where the money goes. We're just going to steal it, not realizing they're hurting the very people who might be voting for them.
They did a single thing wrong, but because somebody stole their identity. Fraud is exactly what happens when you've got a government that is not fighting for the American people, but is fighting for fraudsters and illegal aliens, and it had to stop. And under the Trump administration, we are fighting it every single day. And again, it is every single day I learn of something new. I learn about people who say that they're claiming for hospice services, but in fact, they're not providing any services, and they're making hundreds of millions or billions of dollars in the process. Talk about something that we've seen in Minneapolis, but also in Maine. We have seen people go out there and say that they're providing services to autistic children, when in reality, they maybe don't have any children at all, or they certainly don't have autistic children. So they get paid millions and millions of your dollars to provide services that they're not actually providing. And oh, by the way, what happened to the autistic children and their families who actually need those services and need a competent government to ensure that they're doing the right thing? My friends, this has gone on for far too long. You have been fleeced by your own government for far too long. And
see, that's something I wish he would put into his speech is how long has it been? I think we all deserve to know, hey, JD, you know, you guys just got here and you're looking into all this. How long has this been going on? How long are you able to trace back all of this happening? 5, 10, 20 years? 40 years? How long has the deep state been working with people to steal tax dollars from Americans? And we never knew. They did. The politicians did, And now it's just becoming blatantly crazy because now we know that we know, and they don't care, and they want to keep stealing it. At least we didn't know. We were walking around ignorant. Hey, pay your taxes. Everything's fine. And we didn't know that people were stealing it. Now we know they're stealing it, and they're still not trying to hide it. They are so addicted to stealing, theft, and corruption, they don't know how to extricate themselves. One of the other things is, who do they owe? Who set this up for the Somalians? Who set this up in every state and every county across the country so that this money flows somewhere? Who set it up? How long has it been in place? And why has nobody ever done anything about it?
We are stopping it every single day.
It's absolutely crazy. So now this is where the guy asked, I think this isn't the question yet. Let's just continue.
It is the coolest job that I've ever had, to be the vice president of this great country. It's the coolest thing to be able to come here in the beautiful state of Maine in the beautiful month of May and to be able to spend some time with you. Let me just say that this job has given me more confidence than ever that this country, its best days are ahead of it. As much as I am sometimes frustrated by Washington, D.C., as much as I'm sometimes frustrated by the politicians who seem to care more about illegal aliens than they do the citizens of this country and the citizens of this state, what I've learned over the last 18 months is that we have the most talented, the most compassionate, and the toughest people anywhere in the world. Ladies and gentlemen, America is the best country, and it's going to be the best country for many years to come. God bless you all. Thank you for having me. It's good to see you all.
All right, so I had to switch the ending because I wanted to bring this question first. This is the question from some reporter in the audience, and you have to listen to the question because this is the one where I started telling you it's not that much. How do you just look the other way when someone is stealing? One, I guess you feel it's not your money, or two, you feel that the reason someone is stealing it is superior to the fact that someone's being stolen from. Hey, it's to help illegals. You'll be okay. I've seen your house. You'll be okay. Just keep paying your taxes. Shut up. I need to help this guy. So if we're stealing from you, it's because here Juan here needs it. Listen to this.
Question is, what else do you got? What else has your task force flagged that
you asked you just said to the vice president of the United States completely disrespectful, yeah. What else you got? I'm like, excuse me, I gotta go to the audience here and whoop this guy's ass. That's how you talk to the vice. They don't have any respect for anything.
we should be concerned about, because those amounts are a lot, 46 million, 1.7 million, but they don't really compare to California and Minnesota. What else should we expect from your task force? Thank you.
It's just 46 million. Come on, JD. It's not like we're California. We're only stole 46 million from a postage stamp state in the Northeast. You can't be this mad over $46 million, can you? Not my words. That's what he just said. It's not like it's a big deal. It's only 46 million. That's when I heard this today, it like dawned on me. These people don't care. They don't care that somebody went without braces. They don't care that somebody somewhere didn't have an operation. Maybe somebody didn't get a bus. They don't care. It's only 46 million. It's better used on these people or stolen, whoever needed it.
Let me say a few things. So, ladies and gentlemen, we've got biased reporters in all states. It's okay, trust me. I can handle it. But here's what I'd say. A few things. Number one, you talk about the scale of the fraud being less in Maine than it is in California. Well, California has a population that's much higher than Maine, so that's not necessarily a fair comparison. Number two, we've frankly been at this less long than we have in Maine than in other states, okay? This is something where I would say, you notice a pattern. And you're right, innocent until proven guilty, but what I've noticed is a pattern that when you see certain types of fraud and certain types of programs, that's the tip of the iceberg. And when I see that autism services fraud in the Medicaid program in the Somali community, but not just that, I see local and state politicians who don't care about policing that fraud. That's the tip of the iceberg. And we're going to find out just how deep that iceberg is. And I suspect, I can't promise, but I suspect we are going to find hundreds of millions of more dollars every single month that we look in the state of Maine, because this is not a state that takes it seriously. And this is the third point and the most important one. I do not actually like having a contentious relationship between the state government and the federal government. We want people to help us find the fraudsters. It goes a lot quicker. It's a lot easier. It requires fewer resources from the federal government, but you find more fraud when you're working with people at the local level.
That's a problem, though, because he's talking to a reporter, and the reporter's like, 46 million, no big deal. A guy who has made a living, quote, reporting, won't report on what needs to be reported on. I'm sure if there was a car accident down the road, he'd, do a story on the car accident, but he won't talk about the fraud. And so we need this type of investigatorial agency that he's put together.
I find so preposterous about Maine, it's not just that we found tens of millions of dollars of fraud in a relatively small state. It's that we've had no cooperation from the state government. So when I say that the state government, when I say this is the third, maybe the fourth worst state when it comes to fraud, what I mean very simply is that you've got a governor and you've got a set of bureaucrats that don't care about fraud. And all I'm saying is Donald J. Trump and J.D. Vance, we care about fraud. We care about the people of this state, and we care about your tax dollars going to where it's actually supposed to go.
How is that a bad thing? I don't know. I don't know how that can possibly be bad. We care about fraud. So you're telling me we have another election item that we can begin talking about at a debate? So what's your feeling on collecting and stopping and collecting on fraud? Well, I don't think fraud's a big deal. Okay. If that was your city, if that was your congressperson or senator, and they said, it's only 46 million in Maine, and you're in Florida, it's only 92 million. No big deal. No big deal because it's not your money. The Democrats really don't care. And I think we have to get, as a group, to the point where we start understanding these people really, for the most part, the ones who are visible, are evil. I hate even thinking that. I'm like, how can you be okay that it was, quote, only $46 million? What you got? What else you got, the guy said. Well, dude, I would think 46 million just in Maine would be enough to get you thinking, nope, they don't care. They don't care who they've let in the country. They don't care who these people kill. They don't care if they slit people's throats. They don't care if they do bad things to women and children. Just the fact that you can vote is all we care about. That's it. That is their currency. Just vote, vote, vote. We're in a bad place if that's it. But the good part is, I think we're finally fighting back. I think between now, the next 5-6 months before November, we're in a good place to fight back because they have absolutely nothing. So let me finish up with a quick roll here. You know what's coming.
No man should ever enter where we are going. Beware what lurks in the depths of the libtard zone.
Number 10.
We now have a Republican Party that isn't a political party anymore, but it was a cult. I left it in 2018 because it seemed like a cult then, and it was nothing compared to what it is today. And, a party where they want to determine the outcome of media transactions. They want to control 10% of intel. The government is just taking people off the streets without due process. I mean, it is just so beyond anything that could, it is not even, it's not even conservative anymore. The conservatives today are really the Democrats who are trying to conserve the institutions of our republic.
Oh, no wonder he got divorced. That's George Conway, Kellyanne Conway's former husband, who said that the Democrats are the conservatives. That's how bad it is. You accuse us of being in a cult while you're actually joining the cult. Because, you Kool-Aid drinkers, although we may be Trump supporters, we know lopping off our junk isn't an option. We know that the border should be closed. We know that fraud is bad. In order to ignore all that, you have to be in a cult. In order for people's complete value system to be turned upside down, that's being in a cult. Any movie you've ever seen about a cult, they all just get into lockstep and they all think exactly the same way, and they will completely dissolve relationships they had before they got into the cult, and they will ignore their own personal lifestyles and values. You're going to shave your head when you never shaved your head before. You're going to lop off your junk. You're going to do all kinds of crazy stuff to join this cult. And then you're going to turn around and tell everybody else, you're the ones in a cult. We didn't change. How are we the ones in a cult where we didn't change? We're patriots. We love America. We support President Trump. But guess what? If it wasn't Trump and somebody else was out there carrying the flag, we'd be behind them instead of the guys over here who want to just participate in fraud, let all the newcomers in, and do all the other crazy stuff, Transformer stuff. That's a cult. Changing people's intrinsic values and telling them everything you've believed in is a lie is a cult. Yes, we love our Jesus, we love our guns, we love the Bible. We didn't change. Those people changed. Those are the ones who joined the cult. And the problem is they can't even see that that's them. The fact that you call Democrats conservatives means somebody needs to come over and slap the crap out of you and tell you to wake up. That's how bad it is with these people. When I see people like S.E. Cupp and George Conway and now Alex and it, they're like, you people joined the cult. We didn't change. We're still here. We even may get upset with something that Trump does. We may not like something Trump does. But we, even in disagreement, we still want to see America succeed and prosper. Y'all don't. You want to tear down everything. Every Saturday when it's weather's nice, you guys have a protest somewhere and everybody's out there running the street. When's the last time you see a conservative protest? Don't see it. You might see it. You keep effing around, you might.
Number 9.
For years, since I got into Congress, I have been saying that we need to pass what we passed in the House, the John Lewis Voting Rights Advancement Act. We needed to get big money out of politics. We needed to reform the Supreme Court so it actually...
One word, and you can put the first name, either one, Soros. So when you say you want to get the big money out of politics, you first. I can point you to some of them. What's the dude from LinkedIn? Reid Hoffman. Get the money out of politics. The Chinese dude, Neville Singer, I believe, whatever his name is. Him. How about those people? You go first if that's what you truly believe. And then also, now you want to destroy the court.
Represents the people of the United States. Now, all of these things are blocked by the Jim Crow legacy filibuster in the Senate that refuses to allow the majority of the will of the people to come through in any of these things.
That's what I hate when they get on these shows and the people let them talk and they just nod along. Do you not realize how bat poop crazy she sounds? Oh, Wait a minute, I got to put my big glasses on first.
And so the Supreme Court has been, the highest court in the land, the only court with no ethics, no transparency at all. And they have continually been doing whatever they can to turn back the clock. And so if we don't understand the consequences of that, and to our previous conversation, if we keep going back to say, well, we keep the filibuster in place because it allows us to be, thoughtful in our deliberations in the Senate, we are missing the fact that 40 mostly white men who represent 12% of the country's population in the United States Senate can block us from actually reinstituting voting rights, reforming the Supreme Court, and doing all of the things that are required for us to uphold our democracy.
Okay, so let me just explain to her, since she doesn't understand, and neither does the chick with the big glasses. The Supreme Court's not there to do your bidding. The Supreme Court is guided by their interpretation of this thing called the Constitution. That's their only job. Not to side with the left, not to side with the right, but to look at this box, this paper, this document that was, you keep saying you want to go, the Supreme Court just wants to keep going back. Well, I hate to be the one to break it to you, but that's their job. Their job is to basically look at things from the perspective of this document that is a couple hundred years old. Of course they're going to go back. When they're talking, they're telling you what they feel. They feel we shouldn't be listening to that document anymore. It's an old piece of paper. It's grayed out. We don't need that. We need to do new things. Because that's what she just said. They keep trying to take us back. Thank God they keep trying to take us back. That's their one job. They mess it up sometimes, I think. But their one job is, does what's happening conform by the letter of this document? If it doesn't, then it can't happen. That's what Democrats don't want. They don't want the Constitution to be the governing document of the country.
Number 8.
And if our Republican colleagues want to talk about who and what is making Americans less safe today, it's this White House and its chaos and its reckless mass deportation agenda.
What are they deporting, honey? Who's getting deported? People who aren't supposed to be here. So as you're saying this paradox of a statement that it's the government who's creating chaos, they wouldn't have to be enforcing the law if you idiots didn't let these people in. It's really that simple. They're not supposed to be in your front yard. They're not supposed to be in your garage. They're not supposed to be in your living room. If that would to happen to you, you would call the police and tell them, can you remove these people from my house? So we're calling the government and saying, get rid of these people. They're not supposed to be in my house. For some reason, Democrats just don't understand that. And they think it's chaos when, no, it's not chaos. Chaos is when they were storming the border and you did nothing.
Families and communities are being torn apart. Citizens have been ripped from their homes with no warrants in cases of mistaken identity. Federal agents have shot and killed Americans in our streets for daring to question their unlawful tactics.
She's referring to the new Saint Rene Good and the other guy. And all they were doing was trying to question the tactics. They were good people. She didn't try to run the guy over with the car. No, that didn't happen. She was trying to question him. Go to the videotape, lady. She wasn't trying to question anybody. Quit gaslighting people. Either that or you're just retarded.
The House has prioritized meeting deportation quotas, and in doing so has targeted all immigrants, including those who have followed our rules and who, until this administration changed the rules, those folks were in our country legally.
Number.
Until Trump changed the rules, well, it's pretty simple. It's quite dry. Can you imagine what these people are going to do if somehow birthright citizenship gets, but I don't think that'll happen. But oh boy, would that be crazy.
7.
Republicans have concluded that they need to cheat to win. That's what they're celebrating? Is that what you're elevating right now? The notion that 4 unelected judges would overturn the votes of more than 3 million citizens in Virginia? Is this what Republicans are celebrating right now? Because the people in Virginia right now are outraged, they're angry, and they're determined to send a message in November. We are in an era of maximum warfare. Everywhere, all the time.
You got it. You got what you asked for. You're not liking it much. Wow, we are loving it. So if you want to keep threatening people, here he comes again. More threats. If you're going to take action, go ahead. We'll wait.
Regardless of what ultimately happens before the Supreme Court of the United States of America, where that reckless decision by the Virginia Supreme Court is now on appeal. And so Susan DelBene said earlier today, we're going to win back control of the House. And the big fight will be what happens in between 2026 and 2028. Because we know this unprecedented assault on black political representation, the likes of which we have not seen since the Jim Crow era.
Wait a minute, I thought you were just talking about the redistricting from Virginia, and now you're talking about racial stuff and it's Jim Crow. But throughout this entire thing, you're telling everybody you're going to win. That's not how winners act. Said that many times. If you were going to win and you thought you were going to win regardless, why would you care? That decision is not going to be overturned by the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court, any day, any minute, is going to tell you, no, we're not even looking at it. It's over. You're spending too much time trying to relitigate something that will not be relitigated. It's done. So if that bothers you so much, if you think it's Jim Crow, if you think that 4 unelected judges overturned a vote of 3 million people, maybe you might want to get with it and do something so you can try to energize your vote. Because if you think you're going to win, you wouldn't be saying all of this.
The ghost of the Confederacy has afflicted the United States Supreme Court majority.
Hey, bro, I just want to let you know who was the Confederacy, who was really the guys in hoods. Guess what? They were Democrats. So I can't believe he said the ghost of the Confederacy. I would have loved to have a little graphic where the General E. Lee car and the Dukes of Hazzard just rolled across the bottom of the screen.
And is invading and haunting the nation right now, and we take that seriously. And we know it's going to continue, which is why Democrats are committed to launching a decisive and overwhelming response in advance of the 2028 election to ensure that it's the American people who are the ones who get to decide who's in the majority in the House, who's in the majority in the Senate, and ultimately in 2028, who gets elected as the next president of the United States of America.
Number.
Clue us in. How? What is it you're going to do? We'd love to hear another one of your things. Oh my gosh, these people, like this is getting ready to be a feature because they keep saying stupid stuff every single day, hoping nobody looks.
6.
You know, a lot of these red states, they're not red, they're oppressed.
Yep.
I've driven across the country many times, and I'll drive through really rural areas, and I see the level of neglect.
A, who thinks this woman has driven across the country many, many times? B, who thinks she's driven into some of these cities with different levels of neglect? Hey, honey, or whoever you're driving with, let's take a right turn here and let's go through, I don't know, Tallahassee or Ocala. You're full of crap. You ain't been off of 95 in your life. You haven't gone up of I-10 in your life. Liar.
And I'm like, yeah, I'd be pissed off at paying taxes too.
Right, right.
I live in New York City. Sure, we have a high tax rate or a higher tax rate, but you know, when it snows out, I get to look out my window and I get to see well-paid sanitation workers.
Oh, no. Oh, help me. Oh. Ooh, that's a privilege. I get to see high-paid sanitation workers. I just want to let you know, I live in Boca, and every Monday and Thursday, the trucks come by, and I'm looking at guys who are happy and smiling, and is that supposed to be some kind of different privilege? You get to see garbage men? I'm just saying. I'm pretty sure in the chat, have y'all seen garbage men? Yeah, I mean, do you have the privilege of taking your garbage cans out to the side of the road and putting them out there, and then the guys come by and they dump your stuff and they wave and they put your garbage. Oh man, I didn't know we were to that point where it's a selling point where you live. You know, I live someplace where I get to see garbage people every single day or whatever.
Clearing that stuff out in a minute.
Yep.
I get to see public school workers or public school teachers like really doing amazing stuff for our kids.
Where? Because I just showed a video yesterday where people in high school couldn't read. I have a daughter who was a teacher, and she tells me all the crazy stories. Where are you visiting all these public works? I mean, public teachers. I mean, like, I don't even know what you're talking about.
I get to walk out of my house and take the subway, which is publicly funded, and I say,
I get to walk out of my house, walk down the street, go down another flight of stairs, and get on a stinky ass, smelly subway where there's people and rats and everything else, but it's publicly funded. You know what I get to do? I get to go and click the button on my key so my car starts and gets cool before I even get in there. And I go, oh, look, bleep. It starts up. And then I get to let the garage go up. And then I get to go in my car and go wherever I want. It's very funded.
yeah, this is worth it.
That's
being
right.
in a community and being together and doing this stuff for all of us is worth it. And I don't want to live in a very individualized and isolated existence. But I see places that are neglected, and I'm like, yeah, I totally get the anger.
Yep.
The funny part about watching her is she thinks she's saying something smart. And then the other lady must be as dumb as she is. Yeah, I see that. Yeah, I wouldn't like to live in a gated community. It would suck. I mean, I get to go in and the gate opens up and I drive into this place where I feel so isolated. You mean like nobody else is going to come in? You mean like you go back and you can leave your door open?
Number 5.
The idea that we're in the middle of so many different confrontations.
Yeah.
And we have people, I have no faith. I have no faith in Kash Patel. I have no faith in Pete Hegseth. I have no faith in the people who are running anything. I don't believe in anybody who is running this country right now.
Right.
And
So let's dial it back a year or so and tell me you had, I don't know, faith in Biden, Kamala, Mayorkas. You want it, Raggedy Ann, the press conference lady? Come on. Your audiences are made up of a bunch of crazy people with lobotomies. Oh, maybe you had faith in the guy who was stealing people's dresses and luggage and putting them on, and the other people with the finger, or maybe the guy who was getting butt rubbed in Congress. You remember that video? Is that the people you had you had faith in?
That's what makes me nervous. It's like, okay, well, who's going to take responsibility? The CDC right now. No one is running the CDC. We have this potential virus, and they keep saying, no, there's nothing to worry about. It's like, I don't want to hear that from you because you don't know if there's nothing to worry about.
Let me just tell you, Whoopi, if you choose to, you can go get stuck in your arm as many times as you feel. You can put on an entire face mask like you're playing for the Chicago Bears. I don't care. We're never doing it again. Well, then again, I never did it to begin with. Why? Because I live in Florida. And we didn't have to do it. You tried to get people fired. You wouldn't let people go to church. You wouldn't let people go to the gym. You let them go to the liquor store. That was interesting. And we had to learn that you could get on a plane, but you had to keep your mask on unless you were eating, because this thing understood that you were having potato chips, and now you're not having potato chips. Oh, now you're having pretzels. Now you're not having pretzels. You can go through all that all over again. I don't care.
Especially now that we're not involved with the World Health.
Well, we don't. I mean, it just we don't.
We're not involved with the World Health Organization. I don't need the World Health Organization. This is a propaganda show for sure.
We have been deballed as a nation, I feel.
Because we are nationalists.
I thought my description was
deballed is lovely.
Yes,
I just
it was
didn't know if you meant
clear.
castrated.
Yeah, well, it's the same thing.
Okay.
I don't have them, but I know it's the same thing.
Yeah.
But the idea that no one is in charge freaks me out.
Number 4.
You know what freaks me out? Freaks me out that you get paid probably millions of dollars to literally throw up on yourself every single day. That's what freaks me out. That there's somebody above you that says, let's keep Whoopi on this show and the other nut jobs on this show, and let's keep handing them checks, big checks, so that they can come out here and throw up all over our stage. Because there is nothing that you're saying of redemption there, and most of what you say isn't true, which is why Sonny keeps getting sued.
Or
Why would we replace the black outgoing?
I had to stop because y'all ever see the movie Mars Attacks? Yeah, you ever see the movie Mars Attacks? Or what was the dude back in the Flintstones? The Great Kazoo? Does she look like the Great Kazoo or what? The Great Kazoo, take me to your leader. Oh, man. Listen to what she has to say, though.
Mayor with a white person. That simple.
NAACP Charlotte Mecklenburg chapter president Corinne Mack refusing to walk back her comments in this Facebook post from Monday. Mack wrote that it is, quote, seriously disturbing for white folks to be lobbying to be Charlotte's interim mayor. City Council is currently searching for...
So this woman is mad because there might be a white interim mayor because the black current mayor is resigning because of her ineptitude, but the only quality the new person should have is they should be black. That's it. Should they have any experience? Should they be good? Should they be able to count anything? No. Just that they need to be black.
Someone to serve out the remainder of Vi Lyles' term, who is set to resign at the end of June. In an interview with Queen City News on Wednesday, Mack argued recent rulings on voting rights and redistricting efforts are evidence of black representation being undermined and stripped, and that voters in Charlotte have been intentional about having black representation.
And my question to the white folks who are up in arms and outraged, are they outraged about the fact that black representation is under attack?
She said attack. Mars attack. Are you upset because black represent? I'm pretty sure there's some white people who live in Charlotte. Are you not? These people are so far gone. I'm telling you, I can do a section on this probably every day. It is this crazy. And I'm like, That's the qualification now? The whole Martin Luther King thing, throw it out the window. We don't want to be judged by the content of our character. We do want to be judged by the color of our skin. That's it.
Are the outrage about the gerrymandering that's happening all over this country?
Martin Luther King is rolling over in his grave thinking about, hearing something like what was said today in that post.
Abdul Ali, the vice chair for the 12th Congressional Republican Party, rejected Mac's argument, saying it's antithetical.
Uh-oh. There goes the neighborhood of black Republican. Wait, hold on a second. A black Republican named Abdul Shali. Oh boy, that's just a culture shock right there. A black Republican named Shabdul Ali. Oh my, was that his name really? Hold on, I gotta back that up. Did I miss this? Because wow.
Gerrymandering is happening all over this country.
Martin Luther King is rolling over in his grave thinking about, hearing something like what was said today in that post.
Abdul Ali, the vice chair for
yeah, Abdul. A black Republican named Abdul Ali is fighting against a woman who wants to have a mayor just because they're black. Man, these times they are changing.
12th Congressional Republican Party rejected Mac's argument, saying it's antithetical to the original mission of the NAACP.
I think it's ridiculous because we're not talking about black people not being able to vote. We're not talking about black people not being able to run for office. If that were the case in any law that came out, whether it was done by the Trump administration or Republicans in any state, I'd stand with her against that. But that's not what we're talking about.
The search for interim mayor, meanwhile, is still in its early stages, but council has said they want Lyles' replacement ready in time for her June 30th resignation. Former Mayor Jennifer Roberts has already expressed an interest in the position.
But she's white. Oh, man. Remember the other day I showed you a video where the guy said if somebody woke up in 1896 and came back, how surprised they would be. Can you imagine if you fell asleep in a coma, and I don't know, in 2010, and you woke up now and you hear the crap that people are saying? Well, they're not black. I'm sorry. I didn't know that was a box we needed to check. Wow.
Number 3.
I was born black. I'll be black all my life. I don't want to hear anybody say that the Republican Party has not gone out of its way to keep people who look like.
Now, see, that's where I just have to shut you up when you start talking fast. Your head's going to move. That tells me you're already pissed off. You're already pissed off. I hope Scott slaps her down here because she's talking real fast. She's got to talk about it. And we're black. I've always been black. I'll be black tomorrow. I'll be black the next day. It's so tiring. You're tired. I'm tired watching you.
Be away from the ballot box because it's painfully untrue. It is something that has been charged in the courts time after time, decade after decade, particularly across the South where the largest concentration of black people live. So
it's so easy to destroy these people. It's like, can you slow down, honey, and just back up the crap coming out of your mouth? Nope, you can't. And then what happens, like I've told you, when you meet them with fact, all they can do is get angry.
We've seen those in Georgia. We've seen it in Texas. We've seen it. Well, those states are not led by Democrats, first and foremost. I let you talk. Would you please let me finish? Thank you very much.
I could never be on these shows. Please. Oh, I let you talk. Now I'll talk. No, you don't get to do that. You don't get to pull the angry black girl card. No, I ain't gonna do that. No.
Beyond that, we have to be very serious about the concentration and the erosion of civil rights across this country. And yes, that also proceeds with voting rights. The erosion of the Voting Rights Act has been done holistically by the Republican Party. What we've seen from Donald Trump is someone who wants to and continues to try to expand his power by the most illegal means. So yes, those orders.
Again, I'll just ask you, you're seeing it. Does that look like people are winning? Does the attitude of this head shaking woman with a giant ass wig, is her attitude a winning looking attitude or somebody who's terrified of what's about to happen? Because when you look at Scott, he's sitting there smiling. I want my winners to look like Scott is looking. She, on the other side, is ready to scream, and Caitlin's like, I don't know what to do about these people. But Scott's calm, cool, collected, smiling. That's winning. Whatever she's doing, that ain't winning.
Challenges. Those orders were challenged in Venezuela because, quite frankly, there was no impetus to go there to begin with. What we do know is that more than likely this was illegal. First and foremost, that's why he's trying to hide the videos.
Okay, so a couple things. Number one, has anyone ever personally tried to stop you from voting? Answer, no. Number two,
I vote in Illinois. I don't vote in the South.
I do. Anybody else vote in the South? Because they must have, again, I told you yesterday or the day before when I first came down south, my first spring break. Oh, you got to be careful down south. They do stuff differently down there. Oh, you don't even know what's happening down south. She just had to, I don't vote down south. I need to ask Robin. Robin, did we do something different? Like when I walked up to, vote or anything, do you see a lot of people looking around at me going, he's a blackie. Oh my goodness, what do they think? Who are they trying to put this on and try to pretend like, you know what? Down south, it's really different. And yet everybody down south is like, what are you talking about, lady? It ain't working.
Number three in this country, I hate to remind you of our history, but it was the Democratic Party that tried to suppress black votes in this country, not the Republican Party.
And I would love to remind you that when the Jim Crow laws were eroded, they were eroded by the Democratic Party, not by Republicans who tried to hoist them up and tried to continually re-enter Jim Crow in the modern era.
I think you need to reread your civil rights history. The Democratic Party doesn't have a clean record on this, but the bottom line is Democrats are going to continue to be ruthless. They're going to continue to try to gerrymander. They're going to continue to try to say the president's delivering illegal orders to mess up our military. Who knows what they'll do in Washington from here on out. But the bottom line is Republicans tonight didn't do this redistricting. Democrats are going to keep doing it. And if you're looking for who the most ruthless partisan players are, the Democratic Party.
Number 2.
Yeah. All right. So I got 2 left. It seems as though I said they had an old playbook. They had racism, they had fascism. Page 3 was Epstein. Now they're going back to another playbook. These people are so predictable, it isn't funny. Just watch. Well, you'll see.
Is Donald Trump's ballroom a national emergency?
You got to be kidding me. I mean, it's a vanity project. It's going to cost the American taxpayers over $1 billion at a time when people can't afford their health care, they can't afford their groceries, they can't afford fill up their gas tanks. I mean, Donald Trump lives in lifestyles of the rich and famous. And I wish we had some Republicans that would actually stand with us and actually fight for working people.
And what do you make of him calling for Obama's arrest now, 3 presidencies later?
I think he's seriously ill. I think Trump needs medical attention, and there needs to be an intervention. I mean,
An intervention. The man just sat down with the Chinese president, and they're hammering out a deal, and he thinks the president, Donald Jr. and Eric and Lara and Melania, they need to do an intervention.
His family or someone in his cabinet, or I would say maybe some Republicans here, but they don't have the balls to confront him on anything. So he's not well.
How big of a factor is his cognitive decline now that he's in China?
Yeah, I mean, I'm worried for not only the country, but I'm worried about the world. I mean, don't forget, before he went, he was kind of talking about President Xi with awe and respect when he said that he rules China with an iron fist, as if somehow that was something he wanted for himself. So, yeah, this is all very, very strange.
Got it. Thank you, Congressman. Appreciate it.
So now they're back to he's crazy. Okay, we got to get him out of office. Nothing else worked. We couldn't kill him. Now we got to go back to he's crazy.
My word, yes.
Very kind of you. Thank you, ma'am. I'm sorry to ask the question this way. Are you concerned about the president's mental well-being?
Oh, 100%. I don't know how anyone can see what he...
Oh, by the way, these are all Democrat Congress people. So the word has gone out, and they're supposed to go ahead and get on camera, and you're supposed to just keep saying at this point that he's off his rocker. We need to get rid of him.
or watch him in any meeting and think that he's fit for office. I'm absolutely concerned about it. And I know my Republican colleagues are too. They just won't say it out loud.
Is it the late night posts?
The late night posts, the fact that there is no filter anymore. The fact that he will call a member of the press bitch.
Okay, that really got to them. I don't know if I could make a highlight reel of all the things you called President Trump or us. I mean, you have called him literally every name in the book. You tried to, say he was a, rapist. You tried to everything. Fascist, Nazi, homophobic, everything. And so at this point, yeah, he's done with it. I'm happy he's done with these people. I don't care what you people say. You don't care what I say. I don't care what you say. Not crazy. I think that shows he's even more on top of his faculties.
The fact that he will call people piggy, the stupid, all of that stuff. This is not normal behavior, but we continue to normalize it by not calling it out for what it is. He's imbalanced. Absolutely. No question.
Congressman, got it. How big of a factor is this cognitive decline, given kind of like what we've been seeing, in the lead up to this China trip?
I mean, Donald Trump is so unwell. The fact that the President of the United States spends every single night from the span of midnight to 3 to 4 a.m. on Truth Social creating AI slop, it's unbelievable.
Okay. I love that he does this because every single one of them, they think that he's sitting there at 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning, hitting a button, dropping bombs on Truth Social. Now, number one, you have no idea which ones he does and which ones the staff does. Number two, you have no idea, or maybe you do, I don't know. Do you know you can schedule a post? You can line up. Listen, I'm going to be on a plane all day. I want 10 posts to come out overnight. Bang, to bing, bada, boom, to boom. And I can just make those things happen whenever I choose to. I don't have to be sitting there with a phone. Barron could be sitting next to me. Hey, Dad, watch this. And what difference does it make how many and when they come out? I didn't know there was some sort of decorum, some sort of a rule that says you can only tweet or post on Truth Social between the hours of 9 to 5, Monday through Friday. That's it. What the hell does that have to do with anybody's cognitive ability? I post sometimes at midnight.
And I think that's why you're seeing more and more people call for the 25th Amendment and just recognize that he is unfit to be president, let alone any sort of leadership position in any capacity in this country.
Got it. Thank you, Congresswoman.
Number one.
All right. This one is number one. This one, if you haven't seen it, is going to just make your head spin. Besides the fact that the camera's way too close to her face and makes her nose look like that of a clown, you can hear now specifically, without a doubt, what the Democrat game plan is moving forward. It's sick. It's crazy. It may be downright evil.
Say, look, this is a moment where there are no bad ideas. A no bad idea brainstorm is what I'd like to call it. And in that no bad ideas brainstorm, we talk about what we need to do and think about doing around the Electoral College. We talk about the idea of Supreme Court reform, which includes expanding the Supreme Court. We invite a conversation about multi-members districts. We talk about, that if we win the Senate, which we should and we will, then the Senate Judiciary Committee should have rules that they put in place so when these people come before as nominees to the Supreme Court and lie, that they are held to account and consequence, not just that somebody goes on cable.
Yeah, they're winning. I can tell right now by her demeanor, drunk or not, probably drunk, that they're winning. I can see it. I'm convinced that they're winning. These people have no chance of winning. They know they have no chance of winning. Hakeem Jeffrey said that we are going to be cheating. They're the ones who are telling us what they're going to cheat with. We're going to get rid of the Supreme Court. We're going to get rid of the Constitution. We're going to do all this stuff completely to destroy America. Why? Because we can't win otherwise. We can't play in the rules. Look how pissed off she is.
News and says they lied, but that there are rules in place to actually penalize people for lying to a Senate Judiciary Committee. That we agree that it is right to have ethics rules for Supreme Court justices. And let's put those in place. Let's talk about statehood for Puerto Rico and D.C. These
They want to pull out all the stops. We want to make Puerto Rico a state. We want to make D.C. a state. We want to change the Supreme Court. We want to get rid of the Constitution. Please put that in your campaign folder so that the rest of America can see how crazy you people are. This is nuts.
the things I think that we've got to do. We've got to neutralize these red states from cheating, including.
Did you notice the swallow there? Shit, you're going to neutralize.
Blue states expanding their maps. And all of this, I think, is
Spit it out.
We got to fight fire with fire. These folks are playing to win. We got to play to win.
These folks playing to win. We got to play to win too. Nobody can convince me that these people, there's no poll, there's nothing I'm going to read that is showing me these people have a chance of winning, because that's not how winners act. I've been around too many winners. I've been around too many losers. I understand people who win don't act like these people are acting. That's crazy. That's crazy, girl. You done. That's me.
Breaking news. The Electoral College has just abolished Kamala Harris.
Oh, my gosh.
Oh, my God.
I wonder what we want to get rid of the Electoral College. We want to get rid of Supreme Court. We want to get rid of this, and that. What's left? I don't. What kind of country would you have left at that point?
Hey, Barry, have you ever seen the Avengers, Thanos with the Affinity Stones?
Yeah.
All right, so I just popped the last one in, and I'm going to snap my fingers, and anybody with an IQ lower than 80 is gone. Ready? Here we go.
God. Oh, my goodness.
I do have some breaking news here. This
What do you
just
got?
came in about 3 minutes ago. So the Trump administration just surged a government plane to Cuban soil carrying CIA Director John Ratcliffe with the United States of America across the side. They said this is a very public show of the fact President Trump and Marco Rubio are hell-bent on fixing Cuba. Marco has been waiting for this moment. Down with communism. So that was just about 3 minutes ago.
So they're bringing a big check personally.
Yeah.
$100 million.
Well, there's no oil on that plane.
and planting the flag. I don't know why. Why would they? Why would John Ratcliffe be go? Maybe because there's nobody else. Everybody else is over in China.
Everybody's scattered all over the place.
Yeah. So they sent him. Wow.
But you're right. They are making letting the world know that it's going to be ours.
Yeah. The Western Hemisphere, the Monroe Doctrine, the whole thing.
The Don Roe.
Don Roe Doctrine. Absolutely. All right, man. Robin and I are getting ready to go out to dinner, so I'm gonna look and see if there's any super chats in here, and then hit the road.
So no late show. We had a few people asking if there were going to be a late show tonight.
No, it's too late. I mean, let me look at the. When I looked at the schedule, it said 11:30. I mean, you guys want me to go on at 11:30? Did you see it today?
I did not see it.
Okay, so hold on. Let me look and see what
They're
time it is.
13, 14 hours ahead of us. So,
all right. So today is Thursday. Today, let's see what time the actual event. Yeah. 11:30 our time, Eastern. 11:30 Eastern, President participates in greeting and friendship photos with Xi Jinping, and that 11:40 he participates in a bilateral team meeting. So it's 11:40 tonight that they're doing the event. I ain't gonna be around 11:30, 11:40.
Yeah.
I'll be
You need
snoring
some sleep.
next to Midas at that point.
You
So,
deserve some rest too, Barry.
so
You're always
what I
working
will
hard.
do, here's what here's what I will do is obviously I will record it and have it for tomorrow. But I'm not going to be up at 11:30, 11:40
Okay.
doing that. And I don't,
Well, I hope you have a great evening.
and I don't expect you or any of the mods to be up at 11:30 doing that either. So no, can't do that. But I will record it and we will have it.
All right.
And because everybody needs some rest. A lot of stuff going on. All right. Thank you,
All
man.
right. Have a great evening, Barry. I'll see you
Thank
tomorrow
very,
then.
very much. All right, everybody. Let me look at this here. The Democrats, cheers up. Democrats have become ideologues also. They're more concerned about you following their philosophies rather than making money. Exactly. Exactly. Judy, always a fan, fair, MAGA deplorable. Yes, we are all deplorable. G. Fisher, that ultra green and over 50K down Dow Jones chart means prosperity. MAGA liquor sales to the lib debtards. But I'll check and see what it closed at as well. I think it did close there. Game Animal Barry, took your advice. I pay attention to your advice. I bought some Nvidia, silver. I am also somewhat of real estate investing class. So much your uplifting shows. Fantastic. That's awesome. Vincent Moore, MAGA all the way. Thank you. Chiosop again, 3 times. Dems were not interested in economic prosperity for everybody. They were only interested in controlling everybody. They would make money by robbing us. Exactly. Second, the deep state has kept the world at odds because it benefited them. Maybe President Trump is changing the dynamics and turning the tables on the deep state. That's the thing that he definitely said he wanted to do, is obliterate the deep state. And I don't think enough people are giving him credit for that. You're talking about a well-entrenched adversary. With deep state, everybody lost, but deep state won. Under President Trump, everybody wins, which means the deep state will lose and be obliterated. That's what I'm hoping for. Thank you. Fume Drummer knew that Trump got Boeing a mega order. Maybe they'll finally finish Air Force One. Really, that's true. Chiosop, he was like, don't deport my mother-in-law and all my wife's nephews and cousins who lives on 123 Main Street in Fairfax. I cannot believe there's 20% of those people in that area. That's crazy. Humanity is now in the awakening. I hope so. I think we all need to hope that's what's happening, that humanity is waking up. Mark Kahn, does the Louisiana Supreme Court decision hold any water for Northeast states? Maybe not. Well, not the Louisiana, when you're talking about the Supreme Court one of the United States, yeah. But they're not going to do anything because they're run by Democrats, so they're never going to redistrict. A Republican would have to get in there and start the redistricting in order for it to happen. Democrats aren't going to do that. Where did I leave off? Oh, James. Barry, I live in a small town, zero crime. AOC can keep her big city life, but she gets to see garbage men every day. That was insane. I could not believe I was listening to that. And I can't believe she recorded that. I get to look out my window and see high-paid sanitation workers every day. James Hammond, will Nebraska finally get rid of that one blue district? They should. They should. And lastly, John, I sent you a super chat on Tuesday. You misunderstood me. CDP equals Communist Democrat Party. They must be abolished as a party. MAGA forever. Thank you for clarification. Yes, I did misunderstand. At this point, we just got to eradicate them. They have to be just completely done. So like I said, President Trump is doing a meeting with Xi Jinping tonight, but it doesn't start till 11:30 or 11:40, but I will have it for you guys tomorrow. So if you want to go to sleep and just chill, go ahead. I'll have the entire thing for you tomorrow. I will talk to you guys then.
you.